The history, background, trends, side effects, and much more about cocaine by Cody Miller. What is cocaine? Cocaine is an addictive stimulant drug that comes from the leaves of a cocoa plant. It can be snorted, so through the nose, smoked, injected by usually a needle into your vein, or rubbed into your gums. This drug can temporarily make you feel energetic, talkative, mentally alert, happy, etc. This is why the drug is used so much, because people feel these crazy highs from it just for a short while, and it's just very addictive. However, also, of course, this drug has many side effects, including high blood pressure, you can act violently, and in extreme cases, heart attacks, strokes, lots of things to do with death. It's just not a good thing to be doing, especially using it at a high frequency. In the bottom right corner is also a little packet of cocaine to kind of get an idea of how it's transported and that type of thing. The beginning of cocaine. Cocaine first was discovered thousands of years ago by the ancient Incas. These people would chew on the cocoa leaves, which is where cocaine is found, and it's still where they get them today. And the right side of your screen there, you will see the ancient Incas in South America. Modern day history. It all started when a German chemist, Albert Niemann, isolated cocaine for the very first time from cocoa leaves in the year 1860. A few years after that, it was used as an anesthetic for cataract surgery by a different scientist who discovered it. Fun fact, Coca-Cola from 1899 till 1903 used a small amount of cocaine in its recipe, which was sold to all of its consumers. In 1903, people realized the problem with this and it stopped, but it is interesting. For 4 years that happened. Also, cocaine usage began to soar in the 1970s and 1980s. Many musicians, Hollywood actors, and famous stars would use these drugs. It's kind of where it got more popular, because people saw those musicians and big time headliners using it, so why not, right? Therefore, cocaine will once again be a popular way to get high and stay very alert and also make people happy. From the year 1985 to 1989, the number of users went from 4.2 million to 5.8 million in the United States. In 1986, the War on Drugs, famous from the 80s, established a much harsher and a new policy. If caught, for example, with 5 grams of crack cocaine, it was an immediate 5 years in prison. Sorry about that. In 2010, the Fair Sentencing Act fixed these harsh penalties set in 1986 and made them more fair. Today in Michigan, for example, cocaine is still illegal, and jail time/fines are a lot less harsh than they were in 1986, but they can be anywhere from a year to 20 years. They can be anywhere, also just simple fine. It all depends on how much you have of it and the judge you get. Also depends on if this is the second time, the third time you're caught with it, and your other criminal background and records. Why is cocaine so addictive? Cocaine, when put into the body, plays with the reward centers of your brain. It increases the natural neurotransmitters like dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good neurotransmitter, and this increase of it can be addicting. If abused, a person's tolerance rises over time, in which that person needs more cocaine to feel the same effects they once felt. So, for example, the first time using it, you have a very low tolerance, but as you use it more and more and more, to feel the way you felt the first time, you need a lot more. Here in the bottom of your screen is a picture of just dopamine and the dopamine receptors, just a little anatomy for you. Sad but true problem, the drug fentanyl, similar to morphine, but it's a very higher, is used to treat patients with chronic severe pain, usually following surgeries. It's a good medical drug. In the past few years, people, especially drug dealers, have been selling cocaine and other drugs that are laced with a high potent of fentanyl. This reaction is causing many people to die of an overdose due to the high fentanyl amount. Lots of people don't even know there's fentanyl in it, but they're just being laced. People are putting it in there. It's not good. So beware. Another thing I found from the DEA Administrator Anna Milgram, the shift from plant-based drugs like heroin and cocaine to synthetic chemical-based drugs like fentanyl and methamphetamine has resulted in the most dangerous and deadly crisis in the United States has ever faced. As I mentioned above in the last slide, this is so true because so many drugs are being laced. It's coming over the border from Mexico, and you really don't know what you're getting. So that's why, especially now, the more than ever, you need to stay away. Social correlates of cocaine. Cocaine can be seen in many different settings, but usually in party settings where alcohol and other drugs are seen as well. Many Hollywood movies can glamorize drugs like cocaine and make it seem socially acceptable and cool. But as you guys know, it is not. And the media today. In the media today, cocaine is considered and portrayed very poorly, just as it should be. It is widely known as a bad substance, but unfortunately, just because it's known doesn't mean people always stay away from it. Same thing goes with smoking, tobacco use, all that stuff. Everyone knows it's bad, but you still obviously get people using it because they like the high, they like the rush, whatever the reason is for them. Makes them feel better. Consumption usage today. According to the World Health Organization, only 0.2% of the world use cocaine annually in 2024. You can remember, as I put a stat earlier, in 1985, it was 6.2 million of the United States population used it annually, which is insane. It's still a lot of people, 0.2, but it's better than it used to be at least. Treatment options. Luckily for cocaine users, there are many treatment options available, including inpatient rehabilitation, outpatient rehabilitation, medical detoxification, which is in the picture, the third picture. Not the third one, but to your right. Behavioral therapies, 911 hotlines for addicts, and more. In this next slide, I'll show you some good hotlines to call. SAMHSA National Helpline, Gateway Foundation, American Addiction Centers, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and Addiction Center. Here to the right, in the bottom right-hand corner, is just the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline, quick dials. There's lots of access to it, so give them a call if you need that. Caution, even though there are many treatment options, that is still a hard and painful process. Just remember this, withdrawals from this drug can be very painful, not to mention the struggles the drug has already done to your life, like her relationships, loss of money / career, and much more. Well, that is the end of the presentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.